Hey guys, if just like me you are using Linux or Mac OS for your development purpose, so most definitely you must be spending some time on your terminal. So today I wanted to share a productivity tip of Linux Alias that helps you save time and do your job more faster in the terminal. So to start showing you the demo, I am right now in one of my code repositories where my project is running. So suppose if I wanted to do git status, so I would have to write git status and this command will execute whatever it has to be executed. Suppose git diff if you want to execute, so you need to type in git diff and the difference will be there. So how about if I could create a shortcut? So for git status, what we can do is that we can create a shortcut gs. So instead of typing the whole git status, we could type gs and that should execute the same thing. Similarly for git diff, what if we could do just gd, and just by hitting gd the git diff should execute. So that's exactly what alias does. It gives you the control that you can define your custom shortcuts, and when you execute your custom shortcuts they will be then executing the actual command that they are pointed to refer. So how to create a alias? So there is a file. If you would go on your home directory and if you list down everything, so you will see somewhere your bash rc. So basically this is your bash shell for your particular user. So we need to edit this bash rc. So I'm going to edit this file over here. So there would already be written some commands so this is, we don't have to touch anything. To register our own custom alias, what we can do, we can just jump down towards the bottom of the code and start modifying it. So as you can see, I already have some alias registered for my user, but for our purpose I'm going to register some more alias. So I'm going to get related alias. So to register an alias, you need to write this syntax. So alias is a keyword over here, then the shortcut that you want to use like gs, and then what command should be executed when this is done. So I wanted to do git status for gs for git status, and suppose one more alias for gd. gd would stand for git diff. Sorry, git diff. So the thing to note is that the left hand side, the alias could be anything, right? So there is no restriction what it can be, but the right hand side should be some kind of a command. So so right now I'm going to register these two alias with my terminal. So to do that, I'm going to save this file and exit from it. So it should work now. But if you expect that yes, okay, I have saved the file and now if I hit gs, so you will find okay, this is the wrong example because gs is already registered a command on my computer. So if you want to execute your alias, so it won't be available directly like gd. I registered gd, but it's not showing up over here. The reason is that we need to reload the terminal. So the way to reload your terminal, there are two ways basically, actually three ways. First way would be to source. This source is a internal command of linux which tells which bash do you want to use. So if I do source then bash rc, so it will start using the updated bash now. So if I do gd, now it will work. The other way is to create another terminal. So I could create another terminal. So this, the new terminal will be registered with the new bash, and it will have all the alias that I just registered. The third way is the simplest. Just close down your terminal and open a new one. So now now my alias are registered. So let's go on my project. So earlier I was doing git status, but instead of now doing git status, I could just write gs and hit enter, and it's going to do the same thing. Similarly for git diff, I don't need to write everything, I just do gd and that's going to do the same thing. So these are the alias that you can create, and this will help you save your time, your typing time, and your the the actual development time a lot in the long run. So in the short term, you would say that okay, this is just nothing. How much time I am going to save with this alias? But yeah, in the long term, we will be saving a lot of time. For example, to just to show that, I've created a small calculator. Suppose if you are working with alias and suppose you have five alias, you have registered five alias, and suppose the average time it take to type your whole command, let's say it takes us 4 seconds to type in the actual command, and we are executing this command like 5 times in a day. So even with this small number of alias and the frequency is getting very low, clearly you are consuming like 100 seconds in a day just by typing that command. And if you try to calculate this per year, assuming that you are working 300 days per year, not 365, only 300 days per year. So basically you are typing these commands for like 1250 minutes. That turns down to be like 20 hours. So if you are using alias, then yes, in your 1 year, if you are using 5 alias, you are saving your 20 hours of development time. So I highly recommend that yes, based on your workflow, whatever kind of work you are doing, you should define your custom alias in your terminal so that you will be definitely saving your time. So if we go back to that file, dash c, yeah. So there are two ways to register your alias. The first way is to directly write your own commands over here. But it might be possible that something that you want to achieve is a set of commands. So basically, yeah, I mean, it's a multi-line kind of a stuff. So what you can do is that you can create a shell script and then you can register that shell script as an alias. So it will not be containing the command itself, the alias will be pointing to that shell script and you can execute that shell script directly. So for a demo of that, so on GitHub gist, I have already created 3 bash scripts that I would be showing right now. The first bash script is for git commit, the other one is for git pull, and the third one is for git push. So let's start using them. So I'm going to download them firstly. Yeah, suppose I'm going to download them on here. I'm saving them, and now I'm going to extract these and rename. So you will see like, yeah, you have 3 shell scripts. So now how to register your shell scripts with the alias? So yeah, that's pretty simple. Again, alias, and let's see. So I've created a shell script for git commit. So I'm going to use gc is equals to, now I need to give this path on the file systems. So this is the file path of this particular bash script. So yeah, now gc will be an alias that will be executing this shell script. Similarly, gc then gp, I'm going to use because git push, so I'm going to use gp for git push and gpp for git pull. So gp and gpp. So for gp, what I'm going to do is register this copy, and this is git push, and for here git pull. Now so we have 5 alias registered for git related commands: git status, git diff, git commit, git push, and git pull. I'm going to save this, and yeah, so GP will not work right now because we don't have that registered. So what I'm going to do, source, then the path of the bash. Now I can do that. So if I do GP, then the GP stands for git push. So it will be okay. One more thing, which is like, so it's a shell script. So before executing your shell script, you need to on your file system, you need to give it permission to execute. So how to do that? So there is, chmod plus x. I'm going to give the execute command to my files. Which file? Let's all of them I wanted to give. So git commit, git push, and git pull. You could also do like git chmod plus x and star. So every file will get the execute permissions. Now if I do gp, then what helper I have created for push, I will be asking for your remote branch. You could either give me the name of the remote branch or just hit enter. If you hit enter, this bash script will assume that you wanted to push your code on the same branch, whichever branch you are right now on your local. So I'm going to hit enter. So it's this fetched out what is your local branch, and then it pushed my code on my repo. And now you see like the code has been pushed, and the branch it fetched was the same branch as of my local. So this was just a small example of what are alias, how to create your own alias, what are the long-term benefits of using alias, and some samples. Now the limits are endless, so I would suggest give it a try. So one more example of how I am using alias to save my time is that, so I work with both the servers like Apache server and Nginx server. So very often I need to toggle between both of them. Right now on my machine, Nginx is working. So if I wanted to switch to Apache, I would have to stop my Nginx, then start my Apache. And if I wanted to switch back to Nginx, I would have to stop Apache first, then start the Nginx again. So to do that, the longer way would be sudo service nginx stop. So after stopping the nginx, I would run this command. Then now Apache is running, and the similar thing happens if I wanted to stop Apache and start nginx again. So it was kind of a very lengthy process for me, so I created one more shell script for that. So my shell script is registered over here, so here I've written a bash script for myself where I check what is the status of Apache and what is the status of Nginx. So if Apache is active, this code will execute. If Nginx is active, then this code will execute. Or if neither one of them is running, then it just prints a message that okay, nothing is running. So if Apache is running, I stop Apache, then I start Nginx. And if Nginx is running, I stop Nginx, then I start Apache. So on my bash, you see this line. So I created a alias toggle Apache to an Nginx, and I gave out the path of this shell script. Now it's doing the job for me. So I just need to hit this command. So you see now the Nginx was running and it switched to Apache. And if I execute that command again, so now Apache was running and it switched to Nginx. So very helpful for me. So that's what I would recommend to you as well. Try to find out where you can use alias for your things. So one more example how I'm using the alias for my workflow is that as a backend developer, I need to SSH into multiple EC2 servers. So what I have done is that I have registered an alias for every server that I wanted to log in. So instead of writing this whole command or just copying pasting it on your terminal from some file, I registered an alias for that. And what it does is that now I only need to type hint, and the type hint is also available. That's another one thing I would want to register over here. So these all your alias will be type hinted as well, so that saves you a lot of time again. So you see how simply I'm going to log in into my server without dealing with the lengthy code and copying pasting it from somewhere else. So that's the productivity tip I wanted to share today. Thanks for watching, guys, and just recommend try to find out how you can save your time. Thanks.